We all know the experience of staring down a tedious, mind-numbing task and feeling your focus evaporate. Your mental reserves don't just dip, they disappear. This struggle is even more pronounced in 4-year-olds. Developmentally, preschoolers are defined by their lack of patience and their inability to stick with anything they find boring. In 2017, a study led by Rachel White put this to the test. Researchers gave a group of preschoolers an extremely repetitive computer task and told them to work as long as they could. As expected, the majority of the children quit almost immediately. But in the data, there was an outlier. One specific group of children demonstrated intense, sustained focus, persisting through the boredom for significantly longer than their peers. It wasn't for a prize or avoiding a punishment. There were no bribes at all. The researchers called it the Batman effect. All they did was give the children a superhero costume to wear while they worked. This behavior demonstrates that physical garments can manufacture psychological willpower. The clothes changed the child's perspective on the task itself. The study compared 3 groups: a control group, those imagining they were Batman, and those wearing the costume. The caped children stayed on task nearly twice as long. This is driven by self-distancing, detaching from immediate feelings like boredom by stepping into a different identity. Instead of a child thinking, "I am tired," the costume shifts their internal monologue to a detached, resilient perspective. They begin to think, "Batman is strong. Batman doesn't get tired." The physical sensation of the costume serves as a psychological anchor. It allows the brain to bypass individual limits by adopting a more resilient persona. This raises a question for all of us. Does the adult brain ever outgrow this loophole? The data suggests we don't. We simply trade capes for suits, leaving our cognitive processing just as vulnerable to the clothes we choose to wear. Scientists call the adult version enclothed cognition. It relies on the combination of the physical sensation of a garment and the symbolic meaning we've assigned to it. In a classic experiment, subjects were given white coats. One group was told they belonged to medical doctors, a profession associated with extreme focus. When tested on their attention to detail, the group wearing the doctor's coats made half as many errors as those in normal clothing. The mere presence of the garment improved their mental performance. The evidence goes beyond cognitive tests. Professional attire can actually alter your biology during a high-stakes negotiation. Men wearing business suits during a negotiation show lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and higher levels of testosterone, linked to confidence. In contrast, participants who negotiated in sweatpants saw their testosterone levels drop. They were physically and biologically less prepared for the pressure of the deal. A suit functions in the same way as a toddler's cape. It's a biological lever that fundamentally shifts your entire internal state and cognitive focus before you ever even say a single word. Approaching your closet as a cognitive toolkit allows you to select for specific mental outcomes. You aren't just choosing a style, you're choosing a mindset. This is why the Zoom mullet, business attire on top and pajamas on the bottom, is a trap. Psychologists call this enclothed dissonance. When your clothing sends conflicting signals, your brain wastes energy trying to decide if it's at the office or in bed. This internal confusion drains the very willpower you need to focus. Aligning your physical clothing with your desired mental output prevents that drain. It keeps your brain moving in a single focused direction. Willpower is a finite resource. It's easily exhausted by our environment and our physical state. When mental grit fails you, stop trying to force the motivation. Instead, deliberately choose the uniform of the person who can get the job done. Borrowing power from an alter ego is often more effective than relying on your own discipline. Sometimes the most efficient way to finish the job is to stop being yourself.